But we got to talk about this and not be remiss, right? You mentioned Maybach early in the episode. And if you follow Howard Hughes on Instagram, you're in for a treat, right? Like, not only do you get the financial side, the mogul, the philanthropy, you get a little stunt there. So how many times, like, you like a Marcus Graham, bro, and we just got to keep the stack with you. You like Marcus Graham in real life. Like, how do you, like, when do you get a chance to like really like relish in your accomplishments? Like, when do you like sit down and be like, wow, I was this poor kid from Kalamazoo, and look at me. Look at the places I get to travel. Look at, you know, the threads I get to put on. Like, you know, those types of things. Like, when do you really get a chance to like and just be like, you know?
You know what? I make time for that, man. I make time for that. You know, I try to do it as often as I can because, you know, the work that, you know, I do it can get extremely stressful.
Yes.
It's a lot, you know, when you're putting out a ridiculous amount of money in payroll every single month, you know, more than, you know, people's houses a month. It's stressful. So sometimes you want to let your hair down and you want to get out and just kind of enjoy.
Yeah.
And thank God I don't need to do it a lot. I actually, like I said, I've adjusted to the growth and the hardship.
Yeah.
To where it's normal now, which means that I got stronger through that difficulty, right? But
yeah,
I try to do it as often as I can, man. I try to enjoy the nice things. And a lot of people that are my peers are like, you know, hey man, you know, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do all that, calm down. But you know, I try to empower, but that's another way that I, you know, bring my youth in.
Yeah.
Listen.
You know, they love that, you know what I mean? And just to see the looks on their faces when I hire them to be my driver for the night, you know, or, you know, have them working security because they, you know, they top boxers in the country and the world and they, you know, security for the night or whatever, or, you know, things of that nature, man. Just putting them in position. One, also they making money. Two, they're actually, you know, right here with me. And I know that they're safe.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Listen, you know? Let me tell you, because I was scrolling through his Instagram, right? Yeah. So the last month or so, actually this entire year, Ralph and I, we've been talking about like how we can basically leverage credit when we do things, right? So I'm scrolling through your Instagram and I'm like, wait, I know I don't see what I see, but my man's put, and it's public knowledge, so I guess I'm okay saying this, but put a Rolls Royce on the Amex.
Hey, you
on the Amex. I was like, wait, no, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be. So that's motivation for me. So listen, thank you for posting it, because you just put the battery in my back to do even better. Like, that's crazy.
Man, you know what, man? Exposure is what does it.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's what empowers us, is exposure. We don't know what can be done until we see it's been done.
Absolutely.
That's why we do it.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah. and that's the thing, right? Because me and Johnny were just talking about like you said, leveraging credit. Like, I wouldn't say Johnny, but I'm gonna speak for me. You know, sometimes you kind of get intimidated by those things you really just don't understand,
right?
And like using those credit cards to your advantage is something that you have always preached. If you pay attention past some of the other things, like you've always preached that. Like, how do you just tell people like, hey, these are the things that you should do when you're trying to build credit, leverage credit, get these points, whatever the case may be?
Yeah, so I mean, you gotta use all maximizing your resources, right? So I wanted to learn the banking system and how to leverage credit and how to leverage debt, to get to what I wanted. And a lot of people look at debt and credit as a negative thing. Well, you got to use debt to get to your success, right?
Yes.
And what takes a lot of people who have money, what takes a lot of their money is taxes, right? So that's like 30-40% of your income. You make $1 million, that's $400,000, $450,000. Yep. So if you have a lot of good debt, which is debt in real estate that's bringing you monthly income, you don't pay taxes on no debt. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you hear people like Trump or Jeff Bezos who didn't pay taxes. Well, they just built a subdivision that cost them $105 million, and they don't have to pay taxes on that. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the debt on it. So just, yeah, man, just using that to your maximizing that on resources. As far as business credit, businesses, you get over 500 deductions as a business. Yep. As an individual, you get maybe 5 or 6. So it's good to have deductions is, it's good to have a business. The reason you get those deductions is because you're doing a favor. That's an incentive from the government. That's the government saying, hey, thank you for starting a business. You're getting jobs for people. You are providing a service to your community. You're contributing. You're doing something on our behalf that we can't do. So let me give you some tax incentives for that. Let me give you money for that. And most people don't look at it that way. So if you are just living your life and you don't own a business and you don't have, the government's going to tax you the highest. You're in the highest tax bracket you could be in as the individual. And people wonder, why do wealthy people not have to pay taxes? Why are taxes not as much as ours? Well, they're providing jobs, they're starting nonprofits, they're doing work on the government's behalf.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
So